Welcome to RoofScreen. Today we are going to demonstrate the installation process of our newest, fastest installing frame offering, the RoofScreen LT. While the LT is a great value option, it does have limitations in terms of roof slope it can accommodate and will not work for every project. This overview will serve as a great general guide, but is essential you refer to your shop drawings, as well as the LT installation manual, as each system is engineered specifically for your project. The first step in installing the LT frame is attaching the square post supports to the roof. Square post supports act as the main attachment to the roof structure. They're designed to be compatible with any type of flat or low slope roof and come in various heights to accommodate rooftop insulation. The anchorage method for the square post supports, including the type and quantity of fasteners, will be specified in your shop drawings. Here in our shop, we're attaching to a wooden substrate with structural screws. Flashings, the flash clamp bracket, and storm collar are important parts of the system's waterproofing. When installing the flashing, it should terminate at least 8 inches above the roof surface and at least 4 inches below the top of the post support to allow the post cap and storm collar to be slipped over the post supports in a later step. Flashings may be cut in the field to accommodate post height and insulation thickness. Once cut to the appropriate height, slip the flashing over the square post supports. After flashings are fitted and roofed in, we can install the flash clamp in conjunction with caulking between the inside of the flashing and the outer face of the post support. Next, secure the flash clamp around the square post 1 inch below where the top of the flashing terminates with the included bolt kit. After securing the flash clamp, tool any excess caulking at the top seam of the flashing and add more if necessary. With the flash clamp in place, slip the storm collar over the square post so it sits on top of the flash clamp. This provides an extra layer of protection from severe weather and sun exposure. Once the storm collar has been slipped into place, we can finish the assembly of the square post supports by installing the square post caps. These caps are fastened to the top of the post supports using Tech screws through pre-drilled holes. These Tech screws include rubber washers for a watertight seal. Once our square post supports are fully assembled, we can move on to building the frames. First, locate the horizontal tubes which are labeled as such. Refer to the shop drawings for specific frame designations pertaining to the project. A frame label with the number 1 will correlate to the shop drawing frame detail 1. If your plan includes standard horizontal tubes, ensure the slotted segment is facing upwards. Ensure the flanged end of the horizontal tube is facing the front of the frame so it can attach to the vertical tube member in a later step. For frames with abnormally long spans, the horizontal tube member will not be slotted. A square to flat connector, as shown here, will be supplied to create a connection point at the rear of the horizontal tube. The square to flat connector is pre-drilled and is secured to the horizontal tube using Tech screws. Since we are demonstrating the installation of our standard LT frame system, we will proceed with the video using a standard slotted horizontal tube. Before securing the horizontal tube to the square post supports, adjust the front end cantilever to ensure the screen wall is straight when complete. Depending upon field conditions, use a string line or a laser level to achieve alignment between frames. Once all horizontal tubes are properly aligned, install the self-drilling Tech screws in each square post cap. Refer to your shop drawings for the correct quantity and location of the required screws. The bottom diagonal tube attaches to the frame by sliding into the slotted segment of the horizontal tube. There are pre-drilled holes in both members which must be aligned to install the stainless steel bolt assembly which secures the two members together. When installing the bolt, do not fully tighten to allow for adjustability at a later step. The top diagonal tube connects the bottom diagonal tube to the vertical tube, which will be added in the next step. It allows adjustment for frame plumbness. Attaching the top diagonal tube is a two-step process. In this step, slide the top diagonal over the bottom diagonal tube without fastening. Locate the vertical tube with correlating frame numbers. The top of the vertical tube contains pre-drilled holes. Ensure this end is oriented upward. Align the pre-drilled holes in the vertical and upper diagonal tubes and secure with a stainless steel bolt assembly. Do not fully tighten. At this point, adjustments can be made to frame height by moving the vertical tube up and down. Once the specified height is achieved, connect the bottom end of the vertical tube to the horizontal tube by seating it in between the flanges and securing with 2 Tech screws. It's important to use only 1 Tech screw per side in this step for a total of 2 Techs. Each Tech should be installed into mirrored holes. This will allow adjustment for Plumb as we continue assembly. To adjust for Plumb, first secure level to the vertical tube member. The bolted connections and 2-piece diagonal tube assembly allow fore and aft adjustment of the vertical tube to achieve plumbness. Once the desired height and plumbness has been achieved, install the Tech screws that fix the upper diagonal tube to the lower diagonal tube. Next, fully tighten the bolts in the bottom diagonal to horizontal connection and the top diagonal to vertical connection. Finally, install the remaining Tech screws in the horizontal flanges to secure the vertical tube. This completes the installation of a standard RoofScreen LT frame. It's important to perform a final quality control inspection. Check that all the Tech screws and bolts have been properly installed, and clean up any leftover metal shavings, screws, or miscellaneous other debris that may have been dropped during assembly. And that's it. With these basic steps, you can successfully install a RoofScreen LT frame. If you have any questions or need additional assistance, please feel free to contact us. We hope this video was helpful and wish you a successful installation.